This fucking sucks. Oh hey, I'm sorry there, I chose to ignore you. You caught me experiencing the wonders of allergy season. I want to go outside, but the outside hurts me. Looks like I'll be needing to find a way to pass the time until allergy season clears up. Alright, let's see what stupid game I can buy for today. Let me just check my checking. There is nothing left in my checking. I had like 200 in there yesterday. Heck happened to it? Well, it would seem I only have $2 left. So if there are any games I can buy for $2 that are even moderately interesting, please stand up. I can work with this. You might have heard about this game back from that one Nintendo Life video from a while back. Self-admittedly, that's also a hype on this game. Or should I say games? Yeah, there's actually 2 of them now. 2.5 of them now. So I figured today, while I wait to recover from Satan's yellow gas, let's talk about Tori 3D, Tori 2, and Tori Genesis. Tori 3D being the first one in the series, even though it has a 3 in its name, it definitely doesn't sound like it's a mobile game that would mine your phone for Bitcoin, is the first one in the series and stars the traditional Tori. Satan steals your ice cream for some reason, go stop him, I guess. Big fan of the lore. Yeah, it doesn't really need a plot. There's only 4 levels, so who cares? This game is $1. Honestly, how good could it possibly be? Oh, if you ever gone to a gas station and stolen a water bottle, then you know a thing or two about stealing, which is exactly what this game's price point is. It's $1. For each. Okay, the third one is free. Look at this, how do you make a living like that? Marcus is going to starve to death. Let's actually talk about the game now. You play as the titular Tori, going through 8 separate stages with 4 unique themes in order to fight the devil to get ice cream back, those themes being city, some kind of freight, ice, and city again. But this time, at night. The themes are pretty limited, but the levels themselves are really good. I especially like the freight levels. Something cool I found was the second freight level actually has a reference to something that happened in Sonic Adventure 2. This whole game just really feels Sonic inspired. Like, I mean, this Tori himself, who looks a lot like he was ripped out of the Sega Saturn, and how he controls 2 buttons, jump and run. That's it. And honestly, in spite of that, Tori controls super well. I mean, the game doesn't go really deeper than just platforming, but it honestly doesn't need to. I feel like this entire aesthetic and gimmick are around its simplicity, and how far they can push that before it comes too much. Like the levels where you're on a freight, for example. There's a bunch of speed escalators that move you faster, and wind turbines that can push you around. And from that, it's just about using them in different ways, using the air turbines to push you upwards to different areas, or using them to give you a speed boost, or using them as hazards that will push you off the stage. This game's level design is just genius on how it uses almost everything. Pretty much everything can be used against you as it can be in your favor, and Tori's simple controls really complement that. Hell, his controls are so simple you can't even kill the enemies it throws at you. They're just kind of obstacles, I guess. I'll give them this. They can become pretty annoying when you're trying to get the star pieces and you just keep running into them. Oh yeah, let's talk about those. These little star things are the main collectible of the game. Think like the notes from Banjo-Kazooie. There's a certain amount of them in this stage, and if you get all of them, you get a little icon next to the level. Neat. Now, this wouldn't be a video about Tori 3D if I didn't bring up the man-made horrors beyond my comprehension that appear every now and again. Yeah, this is actually made for Haunted PS1, that little thing that was going on a while ago. Marcus decided he wanted to give some little kid who found this game on the eShop and thought it looked cute some nightmares by putting these little things just everywhere. I'll be honest, the snowballs coming alive genuinely caught me off guard. Or like that star that just makes static noises and chases you. That's fun. Look how friendly the devil is. He's big now. Yeah, the final level in the game just kind of mashes together a bunch of obstacles from previous levels. It's really cool final challenge, honestly. And dude, this music. You would not expect music from a game that's $1 to go this hard. Even though the game doesn't have a lot of songs, most of them are pretty good, like Sea Mama's Harbor or Glamour City. It's all really good. But with one final banger playing, Tori gets his ice cream and goes home. And then he does about an hour of post-game content. Yeah, this game actually features a bunch of remix levels in it. These are essentially ginormous challenge stages that will test your wheel as a player. And it doesn't end there either. If you get all the star coins I was talking about earlier, you unlock MacBat as a playable character. This is actually from one of Marcus's earlier games called MacPack 64. That's super cool. You can also do this. Awesome. Star pieces aren't the only thing you can get from a stage, though. Going as fast as possible can net you an A rank. Yet again, this game is a lot like Sonic Adventure 2. And getting all A ranks unlocks Tasty. He just runs faster. Not as cool or game breaky as MacBat, but I'll take it. And honestly, there's not a lot else for me to say. It's just a really good little platformer. It only took me 2 hours to 100%, so if you bought Sonic Forces on the Switch digitally, it would give you enough gold points to then buy Tori 3D. In both games, it would take you an equal amount of time to finish. And Tori is better. Despite the amount of praise I just gave it, I will just say it's pretty okay. Like, I thought the camera was really all over the place at most times. Like, in its world, it didn't even let you look up while going up this ramp. It's a minor problem, but it was still pretty annoying. Overall, Tori 3D, it was a game for $1. What do you want me to say? Just play it already.
But Tori 2!
Honestly, I was shocked by how much of an improvement this was. How Sonic inspired to make the second game better than the first. The plot is, get this, the Grim Reaper steals your ice cream. Again. Yeah, it doesn't really need a story, but it's cool to have a cutscene now to explain the incredibly nuanced plot. This entire game is just a huge improvement from the first. The level layouts are better for speed. Each level now has its own music instead of just sharing themes between themes. And more Eldritch Horrors, joy. Tori pretty much controls the same way as the first, but in the same way kind of doesn't. I don't know, he just felt tighter here. That was probably because of the gimmicks and level design, honestly. And those level gimmicks are all about making you try to move as fast as possible this time. Like in the water park levels, you have water gushing moving you forward, or in the spaceship levels, there are these rings that throw you forward, and these little bands make you run through and turn you green, which are prevalent through basically the entire game. So much was done here in the name of giving you that really good feeling when you're like going really fast on a platformer like Sonic or Pizza Tower. It's incredible. The levels just feel so much more fleshed out here, like the Lava Lake levels. Why the fuck are you beeping at me? It's incredible. The levels just feel so much more fleshed out here, like the Lava Lake levels, where one of them is about tricky platforming, avoiding these spitting lava things to the best of your ability. Level 2 is about going as fast as possible up the spire, trying to avoid getting insta-killed from whatever the hell this thing is. It's so much more creative, and oh my god, this music! Sky Station! I got really good Splatoon vibes from this one. Palm Tree Paradise. Really just feels like it was ripped straight from one of the Genesis Sonic games. Torch Tower. Really goofy nonsense feeling, but I like it. Dash Dimension reminds me a lot of this. How the hell do you only have 12 subs? If I knew being gay could bring you this much clout, it would have came out months ago. Why the fuck did I write that? And it's obviously I Want to Love You.
Every day, I'll always wake up thinking about you. Every day I'm trying to find a way to say suki desu. I wanna know if this day
This game is $1! Seriously, how are they justifying that price? Anyways, making it through all that once again, we can go and take our ice cream back. What? Yeah, this time there's a boss fight against the Grim Reaper. He utilizes the stages you just went through and turns them into attacks, such as Torch Tower being lava pillars, Hidden Base firing missiles, Dash Dimension firing a big laser, and Sparkle Park doing whatever this is. After they're done attacking, you just need to smack him back a couple times, and then he goes into phase 2, where things get much faster, destroys some floor, and then pretty much do the same. Finally, he's dispatched once again. Everything is alright in the world. Pacifist ending. But just like Tori 3D, we're not quite done yet. Tasty and MacBat return with the same requirements as last time to unlock them, getting all A ranks to unlock Tasty, and getting every star piece to unlock MacBat. But something I didn't mention was MacBat and Tasty are pretty much useless since you can't get ranks with them, and you also unlock them right after you've already beaten everything, so like what's the point? They're mainly just for fun, but this time they actually have a purpose, specifically MacBat. You see, in the second level when you're doing one of these big jumps, you can grab this weird disc object, and throughout the game you can see other discs in locations Tori definitely cannot get up to. Well, MacBat can. So now the game basically flips on its lid and becomes an exploration kind of thing, which is just so cool, man. After finding every disc, I've been calling him the wrong name this whole time. Infinite jumps, crazy fast movement speed, absolutely broken. But not to mention pointless. Yeah, Tasty and Glitchy are pretty much useless since not only can you not get ranked with them, but they come after you've already done everything. I guess he serves more as an achievement than anything. And sometimes it's just fun to say fuck it and break the game. And that's pretty much it for Tori 2. At least that wasn't until Christmas. Yeah, Tori 2's version of those bonus stages from Tori 3D are all Christmas themed. You have this pretty basic one where you have to deliver a present to a house, but the other two are open-ended collectathons. This is entirely awesome. You have one where you have to go up multiple levels of a Christmas tree collecting light bulbs, put them back on it, and one where you have to collect 5 ice creams. Seriously, if they're just sitting around like this, why did Glitchy have to cause 2 games of problems just to steal it? You telling me you own your own dimension, but you can't afford a single ice cream? I mean, gas prices have been pretty high. I guess it's pretty excusable. You also get the Tori copter. Rad. Also, the third stage features light motifs from the main game, my favorite. Oh look, there's even references to earlier Santa Rico games here, like this one guy from MacBet. Neat. This really ties together Tori 2 in this big, neat little bow. Tori 1 technically took me longer to beat, but I definitely had a lot more fun with Tori 2. You get a lot more bang for your singular buck on this one. And now I'm completely out of money. I wish I could afford to talk to the last Tori game.
Nothing. It's for free. Free?
Yeah, so for Sonic's 31st anniversary, Marcus decided fuck it, and basically made a new Tori game for free on itch.io for pretty much no reason besides celebrating. It's nothing too grand, there's only 3 levels based on different Sonic stages. We obviously have Green Hill, which is pretty fun if not basic, Egg Carrier, which is pretty cool, he also gets a nice hat, and finally Stardust Speedway, where you get to race between Metal Tori. Dude, this is so cool. There was no reason Marcus had to do any of this, but the fact that he did is just so awesome. I would end this by saying I recommend playing all of the games in the trilogy, but it would literally cost you a grand total of pocket change, so what's your excuse? Oh look, Tori Genesis has Big the Cat, but as a B. Big the Cat. Get me my gun. So remember that one guy, Tasty? Yeah, well, he's actually from one of Marcus's other games, just like MacBad. Tasty Ramen Episode 1. Luckily, this is free, so I don't have to steal money from anybody to afford this. So this actually came out before Tori or MacBad, but I felt talking about this now was more appropriate. So all of Marcus Horn's games at this point have been platformers, so you would never have guessed the look on my face when Tasty Ramen was a fucking first-person survival horror. This evil wizard guy makes a ramen demon and sends it to Japan for some reason. Anyways, this unnamed guy who is somebody's uncle apparently is going to his shop when he gets jumped by the ramen demon, and now he cut to his niece trying to find him in the shop. The rest of the game from here on out is basically you just trying to gather all 12 batteries so you can turn the air conditioning back on, and hopefully you find your uncle along the way. You gotta take priorities. It's like, okay, I guess. It's free, and it's definitely not going to blow your mind, but it's nice. I really like how well communicated it is that this is in Japan, because if it was in America, Tasty would have been shot at this point. It's still in episode 1, so I can't really comment further upon it, but I would recommend checking it out when episode 2 drops, or you just have half an hour to kill or something. That works too. Okay, so if you're any fan of Marcus's stuff by now, you've probably thought I've lost my damn mind because of the order of doing stuff in. Tori wasn't even his first, second, or third game. I've just been talking about them out of order, so it makes more sense for putting them into a video. Like if I talked about Kiwi 64, which is his first game, then MacBat, and then waited to the end of the video to talk about Super Kiwi 64, even though all 3 of them connect, it would be a mess. So join me as we talk about the last 3 games on this roller coaster of a lineup. Kiwi 64. So this is actually Marcus's first game, well, at least that is according to his itch.io page, which lists this as his earliest work, ignoring the 2 games that are browser-based. Lazy-ass YouTubers not wanting to talk about hungry ducks. Okay, so basically, this melon wants to sit on a mountain. We don't want him to sit on a mountain, so we need to brutally murder him. Yeah, this game not only was free, but is terribly simple. I mean, it was his first game, and it is free, so I can't really hold it to the same standards as a game that's $1. Which apparently is a very high bar. It's just a simple little game inspired by Banjo-Kazooie. You need to gather 5 gene lamps so you can electrify the Melon Man. You find them by helping out a bunch of different people, and boom, the game is over. There's just really nothing going on with this one. I will give it this. I do think this flying dribble attack is pretty cool. Yeah, that's really it. Now, we wouldn't get a true sequel to Kiwi 64 until a lot later, but until then, here's MacBad. MacBad 64! This also came out before Tori, but I was initially just making this video about to the Tori trilogy, but then I realized that only came out to like 10 minutes in length, and also I needed a longer video, so here's MacBad! Okay, so this one costs $1, and I need to find a way to make money. I don't need 2 livers, do I? Okay, back. I met these 2 really nice Mexican doctor guys underneath the bridge, and they did a surgery on the spot too, to take the liver out of my body. It's okay, I don't think I need 2 of them. As long as I don't drink any alcohol in the future, I'll probably be fine. I did get a $5 eShop card though, so we can finish talking about the San Diego lineup. Macbat is British, and that's funny, so obviously he stops at a bar that only sells tea because he's British, and that's funny. So this old parrot pirate guy gives you the rundown on how the factory that produces all the water in the world is broken, and it's up to you to fix it apparently. Lazy ass millennials. I don't care if it's not in your job description to go fix the machine that supplies the entire world with its water. You go do it. So you, random bird pirate captain man, and Kiwi for some reason, all travel across the world finding keys so you can actually open the damn thing. All of these levels are more about exploration opposed to whatever Tori was doing. It definitely is what Tasty was doing, I'll tell you that. These levels are surprisingly unique actually. You have a big beach level, Legend of Zelda parody, some kind of techno thing, Mario Kart, Kirby 64, and a haunted house, which has bananas from Kiwi 64, I guess. Alright, there's a fly on my monitor. Hold on, I'm getting the assault gun.
Sayonara, fucker.
Anyway, also there's this one random level that has this one monkey that has voice acting.
Marvellous here, isn't it? Tell you what, you have no chance of finding a sunnier place than this.
Neat! Unlike Tori, the music here is very forgettable. Like, I genuinely don't even remember a single song from the game. Also, unlike Tori, Macbat doesn't have infinite jumps, so you can't just decide to break the levels for no reason. Shad. Anyways, you finally get all the keys, head inside to go restore the water. Oh hey look, it's that one guy from the Christmas level in Tori 2, awesome. After you've made it through here, it's revealed that it was actually the melon I'm sorry, I don't mean to dead name anybody. I mean the Melon Emperor from Kiwi 64 that did all this. And now we get an actual boss fight. It isn't exactly the grandest boss in the world, but I thought it was pretty cool. I'd definitely say it was better and more climactic than what Glitchy was doing from Tori 2 though. Anyways, after some conveniently placed buttons, which he just so happened to install that would operate a cannon that is facing right towards him, the entire tower blows up and you have to jump across falling rocks to deliver the final blow. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, the climactic thing, because this is awesome. After one final cannon blow, he's finally finished and we can go back home. New book? Yeah, this game also has post-game content like the Tori games. There's this one 2D level where you go through a meat grinder, I think. There's this one Silent Hill-like level that definitely didn't give me nightmares the first time I played this a few years back. And this. So there's been a few statues of Kiwi scattered throughout the levels, and if you find all of them, you can unlock this box in the center of the temple, and it gives you infinite jumps. It even encourages you to go above the level boundaries. This is incredible. Like this cool egg. I don't even know what's happening anymore, man. This game just feels like an entire acid trip. I love it. Anyway, for the final levels, we got this really cool explorative Christmas one and Metroid Prime. Yeah, genuinely no clue anymore. This escape music is really good, though. It's the only piece of music in the entire game I remembered. Now, I would play the song for you, but I literally could not find it uploaded anywhere on YouTube, so you're just gonna have to listen to it through my footage. And that's pretty much all there is to talk about with Macbeth. One last thing. I was watching through the credits a second time, and apparently that random monkey that had voice acting is none other than fucking Gran Kirkhope, you know, composer of Donkey Kong 64's and Banjo-Kazooie's soundtrack, legendary creator of the DK rap, that Gran Kirkhope. I actually went into his Patreon exclusive Discord so I could find out more about how the fuck he pulled that off, and apparently he just deadass asked it nicely. God, I love this guy. Anyway, we can finally move on to the final game in the Marcus Horn Extended Universe. Dear God, this has been a ride. So if Macbat was a spiritual successor to Kiwi 64, then Super Kiwi 64 is the true sequel. So the plot is... Okay, there's no plot, I guess. The most we're getting is at the end of Macbat, he looked over to an island that appeared, then disappeared instantly. He kind of just looked confusingly at it. That is pretty much the only plot setup we're getting. At least Tori 2 had the decency for a cutscene. Super Kiwi 64 has Kiwi going through 8 different levels with 4 unique themes, so you want to get enough gems so you can power the plane and get off the island. The guy who pilots the plane is this one random guy who has 2 entire lines of dialogue in the entire game. If the first one was Banjo-like, this is a full-on Banjo successor. Comparative to every Satirico game we've looked at, this is probably the most complex character yet. I mean, he has like 3 moves he can do, but comparative to everybody else, it's a lot. He can run, he can glide after jumping, he can do a little corkscrew in the air as an attack, and even cling to walls like those one guys from Mario Odyssey. This game really does give me good Mario Odyssey vibes along with Banjo. Its controls in the entire game as aesthetic reminds me of Banjo, and the gem collecting and challenges to get them remind me of Odyssey. I mean, there's also ones that are inspired by Banjo, specifically the gears that are everywhere, which are standing in for the noties. It's so fun to just run around and play as Kiwi. Even if sometimes you already got everything, it's just neat to explore. He's so nice controlling. Anyway, the first and second levels basically just a remixed versions of Mumbo's Mountain from Banjo. They're not overwhelmingly special, but I still find they're nice. The second theme is more of a desertish kind of thing. Some kind of factory in the middle of the desert is more like it, I guess. Some cool dead bodies have been posed upwards of dead cult members that look like they've just looked inside the Ark of the Covenant. Neat! These two are tied for my favorite stages in the game, honestly. It's just so fun to explore these big areas with Kiwi. Also, am I the only one who's noticed he's used this same skull in almost all of his games at this point? It's over there in the desert, it was in the lava pool in Tori 2, it was even in MacBat at one point.
What is he planning?
I've really been missing those patented horrors in Sacramento games recently. Yeah, I'm going to the pirate levels, f*** this. This functions like no other level in the game does. You essentially just have to go around solving different puzzles in this weird labyrinth in order to unlock a cage to get 5 out of the 6 gems. No rings to go through, no bullseyes to bounce into, just weird-ass puzzles and... fetuses? I have no idea what these are supposed to be besides big glowing orbs with fetuses inside them. What the hell is going on inside that guy's head? The second one goes back to how it's traditionally done, though. I feel like this would be a very fun speedrunning stage. And finally, pirate levels. The first one is just some pretty basic platforming that I've already done a lot up to this point. But the second one is this big-ass area where that dog guy gets his third line of dialogue and gives you a jetpack. Now you get an upgraded run that makes you run at comical speeds. Someone please mod Kiwi into Sonic R, that'd be so fucking funny. Anyway, after collecting 40 of the gems, you hop into the airplane and... that's it! The game's just over. I was kind of expecting some kind of boss against the Melon Emperor, but I guess he's just legitimately dead this time. Literally, you can even see a silhouette of some kind of menacing figure in the smoke that kind of looks like glitchy as they're flying away, but nope, they do nothing with it. It's just very weird to say the least. Yeah, we're getting a new update in the future. He posted something about this on his Twitter. It's just basically like time trials. I don't know, the ending just feels incomplete to me. I mean, that's because it is, but I wrote this script a while ago. But in typical Scrabble-Bongo fashion, there's some post-game stuff too. You only need 40 gems to beat the game, but if you get all 48 of them, you can go to a secret temple, which not only has the last gem, making your total 49, which I'm pretty sure is a reference to how there's only 59 music notes inside the first Kiwi game, but also some buttons with weird symbols on them. You see, you might have noticed throughout the game that there's weird symbols on the walls occasionally scattered across the levels. For example, there was one of them on the boat back in the second level in the jungle. Well, if you put in one of those sequence of symbols, you can actually get some secret goodies. So basically, this is just a smaller version of one of those rooms from Banjo-Kazooie where you could put in codes and stuff. Like if you put in one of those on the side of the boat, you get big Kiwi mode, or the one from the pirate area, you get first-person Kiwi. Great. Or like the one from the Purple Maze from earlier, turns you one of the fetus orbs. I hate how games nowadays only appeal to the male fantasy. Talking about the San Diego lineup. Okay, and that is it. I am all out of cash and games made by Marcus Horn. This has honestly been a lot of fun to look at all these games. They're just neat little budget games, you know, that aren't even that bad. Hold on, I'm getting a call. Yo. He's right. I forgot one. No, it's impossible. He's logging! He's right! So is the small intestine even necessary? I'm back! I met these two really nice American college kids who apparently needed a final project for their doctorate, so I guess I'm that now. For $60, they took me apart, put some sciencey stuff in me, new vitals, switched out the old ones, they even scooped out any tumors they found. Frankly, I ought to be paying them. They even gave me this cool new robo-leg to replace that old one that I broke my ankle and got, 300 severely damaged nerves in. And even is voice activated, like watch, kick. Working great. So this came out before Super Kiwi 64, and I probably should have played it before this, because this explains what happens between MacBat and Kiwi 64. Kiwi wants to build a raft. He already has the wood, he just needs the glue. I don't understand why you would use glue when making a raft, but go off, I guess. Beanie is probably the most simple Sekirakapuko game yet. Beanie can only move left, and she can move right. This is the entirety of the game. It's undoubtedly simple, but I still think it works. 9 levels with 4 different themes. I'm really recognizing a pattern with these games here. It better have 8 or more levels with 4 differently distinct themes or I'm not buying it. Bonus points if it has a post-game Christmas themed one. Almost every stage has its own gimmick to it, either being ands that move you one direction, bees that you can bounce on, bees that you can't bounce on, rain that pushes you in one direction for the entire level, and horrors, yay, my favorite. I swear to God you can make an entire ARG with the amount of these there in the game. Every copy of Beanie is personalized. Wait, I haven't been saying Benny this whole time? It's Beanie, not Benny. You take one of the N's and you replace it with an E. I could dive more into the gameplay, but honestly, you could probably gather everything you need to by just looking at it. And just looking at it, this is probably my favorite game he's made aesthetically. Honestly, if you told me this is a remaster of a Super Nintendo game, I probably would believe you. It really just matches that Donkey Kong Country aesthetic. Anyway, after making it through 9 stages of jungle, some kind of ruins, Jesus Christ, is that a flying skull, and snowy Viking stuff, we finally got enough honey, not glue, to satisfy this damn bird. I'll talk about the final cutscene in a moment, but first I want to talk about the stuff after it. For this, you unlock a new time trial mode. It's pretty easy as long as you're constantly jumping upwards. It's not going to be much of a problem. But also, after the end of the game, you unlock a special 10th level. Yay, more Christmas theme. And after that, Tori gets seen for the first time in 20 years. Yeah, I guess he's just back after all that time. He can double jump and that's it. But I finally have a complete timeline of everything that's happened up to this point for the entire Marcus Expanded Universe. The MCU. It all starts with Kiwi 64. The evil melon lord puts himself on top of the mountain for shits and giggles, and then Kiwi, after gathering 5 genie lamps, kills him. That is until MacBat 64, where he comes back and shuts off the machine that gives the planet its water. But after gathering 6 keys, Mac puts a stop to his newly found melon emperor once and for all. Also somewhere in there is when Tori happened, probably, which we know MacBat was a part of for some reason. Also Tasty was there too, I guess, so Tasty was part of the timeline. But at some point after MacBat 64, before Beanie, MacBat and Kiwi are just chilling on an island out in the middle of nowhere when suddenly an island appears and Kiwi seems to notice. That is before swiftly disappearing. That brings us to Beanie, where he needs her help to build a raft so he can go investigate. After Beanie gets enough honey for him, he completes his raft, sails into the middle of the ocean without thinking, and then gets picked up by a tornado and flung onto the island. That's where he meets up with that one dog from Super Kiwi 64. And he lore dumps onto Kiwi that he needs a bunch of these power gems to power his plane so they can both fly off of it and escape. And as Kiwi is basically stranded, he obliges, and that's how Super Kiwi starts. Where he basically does just that, going around gathering 40 power gems, starting the airplane, leaving together. And that is it. That is the entire timeline up to this point. Okay, well there is actually this one game we forgot about that's Patreon exclusive.
I'm out of organs, please!